It seems that humankind has been on this planet for 4 million years. Now if we look at a lifetime or a generation of 25 years, I think I've worked that out. I'll put my glasses back on again because there are some big figures involved. That's basically 40,000 centuries. And known history has only been known for the last 3,000 years, and there's 40,000 years before that. So, you know, when you see sort of our evolution from the apes, you always see it in a horizontal way. I want you to think a little bit differently today, to put everything in perspective, to basically see ourselves as the size of an ant, and also to see that very size as a 25-year lifespan. And instead of going horizontally, let's go vertically down into the earth to give us some perspective of where we're at. So in other words, the size of an ant going right down to the centre of the earth, that ant would represent our lifespan of 25 years. Just see yourself as the size of an ant going all the way down to the centre of the earth. Well, let's go down through the generations, by the way. You go down through your mother's generation, your grandmother's generation, your great-grandmother's generation, the generation before that, down into the earth. You're already at where the Wright brothers took their first flight in 1906, which is only 4 generations ago. You've already gone past 2 world wars. Go another generation, and then that was at the point where the pharmaceutical industry realised there was a profit to be made out of pills. And this is only 6 generations ago. Go back further, you'll go back past the time when Captain Cook so-called discovered Australia. In probably 8 generations, we've got 40,000 of these more to go down into the centre of the earth. Keep going right down, you'll go past the industrial age where all the pollution and the stress of modern living first emerged, I guess, and go right down, and we'll go right down now to the centre of the earth, to your first forebear. That was the time of milk and honey. That was the original Pandora. That's when herbs and healing herbs and foods were plentiful and growing. Now I know life has always been a struggle, and some of you will be thinking, hey, it wasn't that easy. But I'm talking about our ancestors. Our ancestors who survived to get us to the point of where we are today, sitting underneath this tent. We're not talking about the ones that died because of misadventure or gobbled up by a lion or died through malaria. We're talking about all of the survivors, which is us. We represent our ancestors. And I think in our modern life we forget that. I think a lot of us are cowards. A lot of people think depressed thoughts. Some people contemplate suicide. Some people bow down and kowtow to the force of authority, when really speaking, we are the survivors, and our ancestors would expect a lot more of us. And they'd certainly be appalled to think that we're all being hoodwinked, all being lied to, all being propagandized with the profit and greed from the modern pharmaceutical companies, who make out that there's something magic in their pills. And there is nothing magic in their pills, because our ancestors actually got through all of those times through the use of herbs. There were no pills. We are the survivors of our ancestors who used herbs, who emerged from Pandora and progressed, if you can call it progression, to where we are now. In this depth, going back into history, it's only been in the last 4 or 5 generations that the pharmaceutical companies have arisen. But the worst evil about these companies is that they are now doing their best to ban every herb on the planet. Now just let's go back to our original ancestors again. What did they do for pain? Now I'm going to speak generically here because we know that in every different culture, and I was amazed when I was thinking about this yesterday, that we're not only discerned by our language and the country that we originate from, but also by the herbs in that country. If you go to Thailand, they've got their own range of herbal medicines. You go to India and they've got their own range of Ayurvedic medicines. And I had somebody approach my stall at a festival and say, "You haven't got any Indonesian herbs here." He said, "There's a plethora of Indonesian herbs that also help." And then I started to think that it seems that in every culture we have our own herbs as well. Now we know certain herbs work. We certainly know of the European ones that do, and we do know of some of the South Americans and some of the Chinese herbs that work. But generally, I'm going to go through some of the herbs that work contrary to what they try to tell us.